Well, I think we're at that time of the year where it's getting to be too busy. These holiday times seems like it's just too much going on and it's hard to keep up. At least that's the way I'm feeling. I'm feeling like it just got too much to keep up with. So I thought today I'd just make a cup of tea, a nice calming cup of tea, and tell you how my day went yesterday, which I think I handled pretty well in spite of everything going on. So if you're new here, my name is Scott, and I've been living out of this 2013 Toyota Sienna for most of the year, about this early in the year. And this van's been pretty good to me, except yesterday morning, jumped in the front to take off to go to the store and had a dead battery. And I thought, oh no, not now. I don't want to deal with this right now, which is kind of funny because when is there really ever a good time to deal with a dead battery? So my next thought was just call AAA, have them come out, give me a jump start, and get on my way. But then I thought about that another second, and I thought, I don't really want to burn a AAA call just for a dead battery. I should try to get this started myself. And I wasn't quite sure I would be able to, but about 3 weeks ago, I was moving some stuff around in my underbed storage here, and I found a tool that I didn't know that I had. This is a little battery charger made by Noco, and it's a small one. It's a 5 amp battery charger, which is not much. That's not much of a charge. It's meant for slow charging things. And for some reason, I thought I had given this to a friend months ago, and I didn't realize that I still had this, but when I was doing that move around, kind of adjusting things, I found it stuffed away in a bag, and I thought, for sure I got rid of this. I thought it was just, I was positive that I gave this to a friend, but I didn't think much of it at the time. I just stuffed it back in that bag and stuffed it back down under the bed, and there it sat. But lucky for me, that's I remembered that, had that little encounter recently, and was able to remember that I had this little tool. So I thought I might as well just give this a try. So what I did was I actually plugged this in. This plugs into just a normal plug, which is kind of a problem for me normally because I normally live off of solar power. But I do have this little, turn you around and show you this. I've got this little portable power supply, and it does have an inverter in it, so I can plug a few things into it. So I plugged in the battery charger to the portable power supply, and then I ran the leads out to the hood, and I found the little battery cable clips from it. Had managed to keep those too, and so plugged it all in and thought, there's no way this is going to work. Absolutely no way. But after about 15 minutes, I noticed on the little charger, it was starting to charge. And I got up into the little third bar. And so I thought, I'm going to give it a try. Instead of just depleting my portable power supply fully, I might as well just give it a try now and see if it turns over. And sure enough, the engine turned right over and started right up. And I thought, I cannot believe that that worked. Here, I had the tools that I needed to get this thing going, and didn't realize that I had the tools exactly at first, but had the tools I needed to get my van started myself, essentially gave myself a jump start. I did look around and to try to ask somebody for a jump start, but where I was parked that night, there just wasn't anybody around. Most of the people around were at work. The rest of the people didn't own vehicles, and there just wasn't anybody to ask. And so this was pretty cool. And I thought, my initial reaction was, oh no, and doom and gloom. But, after a couple of minutes of thinking, I realized I had the capability of getting myself going, and I didn't even need to call AAA. I did reconsider calling AAA for a minute there as I was waiting for the battery charger to work, because I thought a lot of times AAA will bring a battery out with them and not only sell you a new battery, but install it as well. And I thought that would be real easy. That would be the easy way to go. But it's also usually the more expensive way to go. So I thought, if I could get the van started, I just drive it down to the auto parts store. They can check the battery for you and, you know, give you an idea if it is your battery. I did take out my meter. I've got a little meter here, little voltmeter. So I did get that out and I checked the voltage, and it seems like my alternator's working correctly. I think it is anyway. You know, just doing some little preliminary testing on my own. I'm not a mechanic. You know, I just do the little things that I learn on YouTube and copy what they tell you to try to do instead of going to a real mechanic. And it seems like the alternator's working just fine. I've had a few little incidences in the last few months with this van where I've left the headlights on, and so I think I've done a little bit of damage to the battery myself. It wasn't a real great quality battery to begin with, so I did have some reservations about it, thinking that maybe I've done something irreversible to this battery, and so I was kind of thinking the last few weeks I should maybe buy a little portable jump starter. I know those are really popular nowadays and lots of people have them, and I know that they're fairly inexpensive, but I've kind of resisted buying one of those little jump starters because it is another battery. And the way I think about that is it's another mouth to feed. And do I want to have something else that I need to charge up and remember to keep charged up? Because if you don't charge it up every few months, it's not going to be any use of anything to anybody. So it's just another mouth to feed that I have to keep charged up and fed. So I haven't bought one, but I'm now thinking maybe I should buy a little portable jump starter pack. I think I also need to buy a tire pump. That was one of the things that kind of got lost in my move from my old van to this van. I remember taking it out of the old van and putting it in this van, but do you think I could find it now? Nope, it's gone. So it's possible it could have fallen out of the van, or maybe I used it and left it somewhere, who knows. But so there's a couple little things that I should probably have on hand that would be useful. You know, if you get a little flat, you can fix it yourself. I do have a tire repair kit that I carry. Not that I know how to use it exactly, but I do have YouTube. There again, just watch a YouTube video and hopefully figure it out. You know, in those off chances that I might be somewhere that AAA is not around, or maybe that they're taking a long time to get out, to get the call taken care of. So probably a couple little things I'll put on the list and think about. I'm not quite sure I want to buy a jump start pack, but I do know I need to get a tire pump. That's one of those things I think is non-negotiable. So I'm thinking about that. But I was just thinking about how here a lot of times we don't give ourselves enough credit for being capable. And this was kind of just dumb luck that I happened to be doing a bit of rearranging and just found a tool that would be useful in this situation for me, because I totally forgot that I had this battery charger. It's not really of any use to me really nowadays, so I'm not really sure why I still have it. So that's probably part of the reason why I thought that I'd given it away. I think I offered it to a friend of mine. I think that's about as far as that went. I think that's, now that I'm thinking back about that, I think that's how that went down. I offered it to somebody and then somehow I didn't give it to them. Maybe they didn't want it. Maybe I forgot to give it to them. So if you're watching this and I offered you a battery charger, remind me to give it to you, because maybe I forgot. But anyway, you know, we're much more capable than we give ourselves credit for a lot of times. And sometimes it's just because we don't realize that we have the tools to get ourselves out of a bind at hand. And, you know, maybe it's because we're kind of fed up with how busy everything is. I go into the grocery store for something the other day, and it was just crazy busy in there. I couldn't find a parking spot. Had to fight my way into the door, you know, and it's not really that bad. Here where I'm at the moment, I'm in Fort Bragg, which is a pretty tiny town, and so it doesn't get too busy, at least compared to other places that I have lived in. Seattle and San Diego both pop into mind really quickly. Those are two busy cities, and this time of year I'm sure glad I'm not in one of those bigger cities. because it does get very busy and it does get very hectic. We don't get a whole lot of that here. This is really just a kind of sleepy beach town here, Fort Bragg, and it's pretty laid back. A lot of the businesses run on island time. There was a shop I was trying to get to the other day, and I was looking at the opening time because I never paid attention. I go in there all the time, but I never paid attention to when they open. And I was trying to get there early in the morning, and I noticed that I looked up on Google Maps to check their opening time, and their opening time was 9:15 a.m. So that's an odd time. You know, that's not a time that would work in a place like Seattle or San Diego, but it works okay in a little town like Fort Bragg, or any little kind of beach type sleepy town. That kind of time frame works just fine here. But I just thought it was kind of funny. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that. You know, sometimes we get ourselves in the mindsets just because of everything that's going on, and we kind of forget that we are entirely capable to take care of all kinds of things for ourselves. And especially when we have YouTube at our availability, that we can just get on YouTube and find an answer to something that we have no idea about. So it's good times that we're living in. The only thing I'm not real happy about these days is I'm still drinking tea and not coffee. This is some sleepy time tea, which might be kind of a funny thing to drink first thing in the morning here, but I actually kind of like it. Okay, you know, I'd much rather be drinking a cup of coffee, but sleepy time's all right. I've tried several different types of tea, and I just don't seem to like any of them. So I've just been keeping to my sleepy time tea, which I normally just keep around for when I'm sick, but here I'm just drinking it anyway because it's a nice warm drink and it's nice and calming, which I probably still need more of because I do need to go back to the store today. So I guess I was going to say wish me luck, but I'm in a sleepy beach town, so I don't really need it, do I? Anyway, that's about all I had to say today. I hope all you are doing really, really well, and we will see you all soon. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.